So today, in talking about find your passion, I want to start with the first thing first. There's a lot of people out there, including myself at one point in time, who didn't actually know what their passion was, right? And it's really kind of hard to find your passion, especially if you're, I guess, above the age of 18 and you're now starting to work, speaking directly to the people who are like me, very young, maybe like from your 18, 19, 20, 21, up to like your lower 30s, basically. It's kind of hard to find it because you start to like develop bills, you start to get a car, you start to try to look for apartments, you start to get, all these other things that you didn't really have to deal with at first. But that doesn't mean that you cannot figure out what your passion is through an alternative method. So this method for me is like really simple. I kind of did a little bit of research and I kind of tweaked it with a few friends that I've been using it, and I've been calling it kind of basically just like a simple question, right? So before we get into the question, let me just state this first thing. I believe that your passion basically is nothing more than your desires, right? Your passion is basically one of the strongest desires that you have at that point in time, which could either be for that moment or for a longer duration, right? So the root of what we really need to do is to figure out what is your desires. So I have a really fun question that I think most of you guys may like. It's really easy. I would advise you guys ask your friends, ask your family, just to see what their responses is. You will get to learn a little bit more about people. So the question is, if you had all the money in the world, and I'm pretty sure everyone's heard this before, but if you had all the money in the world, what would be the first couple of things that you would do? You don't really have to put a limit on it, but what would you do? And then once you come up with those answers, I would suggest that people write it down just so you can keep track of everything that pops into your head, because everything that pops into your head is something that your brain is telling you that you may want. Sometimes we don't always consciously remember until we ask the question. But I would advise that you write it down. And when you write it down, take away all the things, one, that you can do with money or something that you can pay for, right? Take away those, and then the second thing, take away the things that you cannot do by yourself. And what you will be left with, I believe, will be the closest thing to your passion. You will at least come up with a very smaller list compared to your original list, and I believe this is a good direction in finding what your passion is. So let me know how that goes for you guys. I'm actually really excited. I've been doing this with my own personal friends and my own personal relationship groups. Let me know how it goes. You can drop a comment. You can find me on social media, on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, where I talk about these videos as well. I also post these on Twitter. I will put all of that in the description. If you want to hear the longer version of this on the podcast, is where I really do more of my rambling about it. You can go ahead and subscribe to me or follow me on the podcast as well. I have that down below. So it was really fun talking to you and making this first video. I'm very excited to see how these next mini episodes and series go. So thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.